Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a fantastic start to your weekends. Today we're going to be delivering a Cardano update video, and I've got many exciting points to raise with you. We're going to be looking at a number of different things in relation to Cardano. We're really going to be focusing on not only Cardano's DeFi ecosystem that is up and coming and on the horizon, the short horizon. We're going to be taking a look at Ethereum's DeFi system and really showing us what this tells us about what's coming for Cardano. And I think this is going to shock many of you and really put things into perspective because the sentiment is horrific for Cardano right now, and I really don't understand it. I have never been so bullish in my life in relation to ADA, and that's because I understand what is coming, and that's what we're going to really focus on at the start of the video. We are, and I'll save this towards the end of the video, going to take a look at the price, where we're at today. Some good signs. Bitcoin is showing certain signs that it may have bottomed here, and we are looking for a rally to the upside. This of course is going to be great for altcoins. But what I'm going to show you in the start of the video, and it's going to tie in with our kind of Elliott wave theory and the fact that we're on this third wave, is what's coming and why this is huge. I'm going to be pulling up a number of other factors as well in relation to this, but I'm really going to be expressing what Dwayne Cameron, the co-founder of Liquid Finance, which is a lending and borrowing protocol coming on Cardano, a dApp coming on Cardano, like an Aave or Compound, is saying in this tweet. 50 to 100 DeFi protocols will be deployed on Cardano in the next 3 months. Half of these are fully built and now completing testing/performance optimization. There is nothing anyone can do to stop the incoming ADA supply shock. Let that sink in. And he's absolutely right, guys. And what is he talking about in relation to this supply shock? I'm going to show you. And what I'm really going to do is show you the total value today locked in Ethereum's DeFi system. And this is really going to put things into perspective for many of you. The second part of his tweet thread reads, best part, Cardano only needs 5 to 10 functional secure DeFi protocols that can scale with the UTXO contention to absolutely dominate. If you don't believe me, just watch. I wholeheartedly agree with what he's saying. Cardano DeFi is going to be huge. We're already in a number of DeFi projects. I'm going to be making a video, probably bringing it out on Monday, potentially tomorrow evening, where I talk about some of the projects that I'm involved with. In relation to investing, because I think there's a huge opportunity, not just in ADA, but the projects that are coming out of it. And you guys have the chance to be the early investors in those projects. And not some of them not via an SPO, initial stake pool offering either. So what is he talking about with this supply crunch? Well, I'm going to explain it. We know that 71%, 71.8, I actually think it's a little bit higher than this, of Cardano is actually staked to the network. Now, of course, that is still liquid. It's not like there's a lockup period. This is something that has been talked about, though, for various reasons, maybe having a lockup period. But for now, it's liquid, and you can move it about freely. But it's a very good indication. I think this is a number that's only continuing to grow. I think with DeFi, so that really leaves only 29% of the overall supply on the table. Remember, the price is set by what's trading back and forth on exchanges, which is a very small amount, 5% or so. That dictates the price for the rest of the supply. So price is really a very unfair metric. We've stressed this on a number of occasions. So that leaves 29% to go on exchanges. And then the rest of that, I believe, is very quickly going to get eaten up in DeFi protocols. And why do I believe this? Well, I want to take a look at Ethereum and their DeFi system. We're also going to be really showing you some very interesting things here that suggest that large institutions are the main users of DeFi on Ethereum. And this potentially is going to get replicated on Cardano because institutions are going to go where they can farm yield. It's kind of like why BlackRock were holding Evergrande bonds, because they have to go further and further afield from the traditional kind of stagnant yield-bearing legacy systems that we find ourselves in to farm that yield. And DeFi is an opportunity for them, just like it is for us. So what we see, and we've covered this in a number of videos, so I'm kind of going to skim over it, but this of course is when DeFi really started, with DeFi Summer in 2020. You guys remember it, I was certainly a part of it. I still have a little bit of DeFi on Ethereum, or ETH locked in some of the DeFi protocols, or ERC20s locked up. They're all going to be getting changed over to Cardano when we have that opportunity arise, because it's going to be cheaper, faster, you name it. What I'm going to do is make my face a little bit smaller. which I'm sure some of you will appreciate. We're going to take a look at the DeFi pulse, and this is ETH that you're seeing right here that's locked up, and you can see you've got your DeFi summer, and you see the amount of Ethereum just shoot through the roof as people are farming. It's a new thing, everyone wants to get involved. Price is very correlated with that as well. And what I want to do, and this is going to put things massively into perspective for you, is look at the total value in US dollars locked. Now, before I reveal what that is today, and we've seen a huge dip because, of course, Ethereum DeFi is just becoming, for the retail investor, for these institutions, $350 gas fees, that's a nice lunch for one for many of them. But for people like me, one reason I don't use DeFi on Ethereum is because I don't like getting a bad deal. I don't like getting ripped off, and that's what DeFi on ETH feels like. Of course, I still use Aave because they have the Polygon integration, which is like it's a lot cheaper. So let's just take a look at the market cap of Cardano. The market cap of Cardano is 62 billion. Now, this puts things into perspective of just how much growth there is to come for ADA and the flourishing ecosystem to come out of it. And believe me, guys, everything I say and do on this channel is not financial advice, but I'm saying, in hindsight, when we look back at this moment, when we look back at this period of consolidation, this is going to look like a golden opportunity that you guys wish you potentially would have took. I know many of you have. That's why you watch this channel daily. Total value locked inside Ethereum today, and it saw a huge dip, is $89 billion. Nearly a third more Cardano than there is, or more market cap than there is in Cardano. 89 billion, guys. There's a lot of room for growth here. And this was very interesting. I'll bring it up very quickly before we get back into the DeFi pulse. Large institutions, or large institutional, professional, large retail, small retail. And in Q3 2020, you can see it was really professionals, people that are familiar with the crypto space. In Q4 2020, you can see that the large institutions have really started stepping up their game. This trend continues in Q1 2022, or 2021, sorry, and Q2 2021, again, you can see it's largely large institutions that are farming DeFi and using it and basking up those transactions. So this is something I think you're going to see replicated on Cardano. I think institutions are looking for yield, they're looking for APYs that are positive and hedge inflation, and they go further and further afield. So DeFi, where it's at today in comparison to where it's going, you guys are so early. I mean, seriously, you're so early. I've always said this, when we look at the linear chart for Bitcoin, or the logarithmic chart for Bitcoin, I should say, which I haven't got up, you can see that it's just adoption taking place. And in regards to how many people own crypto, it's still a very small percent of the population. And in regards to how many people use it, it's a percent of that percent. You guys are still, there's a huge, bright future ahead of many of you. And you guys get to be the early investors in things like Apple, Amazon, Google, etc. So you can see the total value locked. No, 1 point, guys, the total value locked was 113 billion. So, nearly double Cardano's current market cap, just in the DeFi side of ETH. Now, if you couple that in, the supply shock element comes with, if you couple that in with the fact that most of this is staked, most Cardano is staked, of course, people will take some out to use DeFi and maybe they might get a higher APY. We'll cover plenty of videos on that. You're really going to see that 29% exchanges, it's going to come from exchanges mainly, is going to get eaten up in DeFi, and there's going to be this huge, lack of sell pressure in relation to Cardano on exchanges. So it's going to do wonders for the price, guys, and I'm super excited for what's to come. We're already the second highest transaction volume chain, or at least we were a couple of days ago, and of course Ethereum's price very correlated with everything. So things look good. This was interesting. We did speak to you about this in relation to Bitcoin and where we are. We know that the entire market sold off the other day due to Bitcoin. We're looking for where we potentially may bottom. We've got this kind of ascending triangle, if you will, as a macro structure. It kind of paints a little bit of a picture to where we could come down to. But you can see here, guys, this was a 0.5. We got very close to the 0.5. And in terms of what this individual is pointing out, Your indicators are screaming that potentially you have bottomed and did bottom on the 18th. It's too early to tell at the moment. We've got to see how things pan out. You know, remember, we're still expecting a pretty epic end to this year, even though we do happen to believe cycles are somewhat lengthening. But the jury's still out on that whole 4-year cycle theory, cycling lengthen theory. There's lots of arguments for and against, which we're going to cover in other videos. But you can see, you know, if you look at your RSI, you can see that typically what you've had flash up on all these indicators in regards to the 18th is a new impulsive move to the upside. And that's not going to happen overnight. You can see that you're not really holding any support anywhere, to be honest. But you know, you've not come down to fall lower. Still could be on the horizon. We did say when we were here that we didn't want Bitcoin to do this, come up to maybe that sort of level before going down and create that head and shoulders that we didn't want. We'll just have a target right down at the sort of 50k range. It's around about your golden pocket, golden ratio. So what it's doing at the moment is good. You know, we want to see this bottoming structure before we get that continuation. Of course, this means great things for altcoins. Cardano actually looks decent. And quickly, when we bring this up, and you guys are probably sick to death of seeing it, but it's played out to date, guys. We're just going through that correction from the 1 wave into the 2 wave and ready to embark on that 3rd wave, which is probably going to be the biggest wave. This is going to be very correlated with the DApps and the supply crunch and everything we've just spoken about. So Cardano on the more immediate time frame, things actually played out very well from what we said in relation to the golden pocket, not the golden ratio, the golden pocket. We put the 0.65 on, and you can see you did play out very well here, where we said you were going to bounce. Typical, you'll sell a little bit below because people try and kill off the longs with the shorts, knowing that people will open longs at this ratio in this pocket. You've come up, you got rejected, you've come back, you're now finding support. And if you look at how you're acting on your EMAs, you actually look good. EMAs aren't the be all and end all, but what they do show is relative strength and relative weakness. And you can see you've held it once. Are you going to hold it again and see continuation? It's largely down to what Bitcoin does, but this isn't just on the 1 hour time frame. You can see actually on the 4 hour time frame, you're holding it very well. Let's take a quick look at the daily, and then I'll wrap this video up. You're still miles behind your EMA, so often when you get extended from these, in the same way every time you get extended to the upside, you will come back and re-meet it. It works like that on the downside. So you're still very extended. So there's still absolute room to continue going up. So things look good on the short term and the long-term horizon, the long-term perspectives for Cardano. And this is just DeFi. This isn't going into all the partnerships that they have and all the, you know, that fire should never have left your bellies. And if this price action, we've been saying buy for the past 2 months, ladies and gentlemen, the same way that we said it all the way down here. You know, I can't emphasize how bullish I am enough, guys. And ultimately, I think it's going to look like a fantastic opportunity with hindsight. Short-term volatility is just part and parcel of the game, guys. And really speaking about how much Cardano is actually staked and what is actually traded and how that dictates the rest of the price for the circulating supply, should really highlight that the price is often a very poor representation of value. Certainly, we know that in the 1990s with Amazon, when we had the dot-com crash where it went from $106 to $6. That was a great buying opportunity, and the price really didn't dictate that. That is all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Hopefully you've not found that too lengthy. We're trying to make somewhat shorter videos, but I'm going to love and leave you on that note. If you've enjoyed the content, like us, always appreciate it. So as a comment, remember, we do have the Cardano stake pool all in, and there is a link to the Discord in the description. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen.